Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. Hey Descendants and Zombies universe, we have a lot of Freya Skye fans who watch this YouTube channel every day out there. Thank you so much for always subscribing here and being with me for forever and always, because you guys took a chance on this YouTube channel because you saw something special in my reviews and my commentaries. And I can never seem to put into words how appreciative I am of every fan of Descendants of Zombies, because Descendants of Zombies fans really offer something special to their niche. They have so much respect for the person recording videos and sharing with them their thoughts on Descendants of Zombies, even if it's just a prediction. I have never felt more honored to be in your guys' presence. It is such a huge honor for not just me, but every YouTube creator out there to create, edit, and upload videos of Descendants of Zombies. Because the thing you've got to realize is, somewhere out there today, no matter what the age, there is a girl who loves Descendants of Zombies with all of their heart. Over 85% of this audience who have subscribed here are a girl, and girls know who they love and who they want to hear talked about and shown respect. And until you understand, how a girl feels about Descendants of Zombies, you can never really take away a greater appreciation for Descendants of Zombies. All they ever want to do is make somebody happy in their own lives that they surround themselves with. Because when they see that you're hurt, when you're having a bad day, they just want to make you feel better. And I think Descendants of Zombies is what made them feel better when they couldn't make sense of whatever was happening around them. And I've witnessed this with my own two eyes. I've seen some of the most beautiful friendships of all time firsthand happen because of Descendants of Zombies. I have seen people want to spread their own emphatic message of kindness. And I think that's a really wonderful thing, especially with how a lot of people just want to find peace in their own life and contentment. And it's just wonderful how Descendants of Zombies fans have truly come together and created something special for every fan of Descendants of Zombies. And I mean, I know that over 85% of the audience are girls, and sometimes it's really hard to understand girls from the perspective of another YouTube creator. But I've taken great pride in that, because once you win the hearts of every fan of Descendants of Zombies, you've truly won something special. You won over the hearts of a niche that will never quit on you, because they want to know what Jonathan Clarke has to say about Descendants of Zombies. The release windows of Descendants 5, Zombies 5, when is it coming out? What can you tell me, Jonathan Clarke? I watch you every night on YouTube because you record really cool videos about Descendants of Zombies. Make milkshakes in fear of a zombie apocalypse breaking out, or, I've had so much fun being here with each and every one of you and representing this niche. All I can tell you is I don't know what the future has in store, but I am incredibly excited for a girl like Freya Skye, who you can never seem to show enough love and support for. But let me tell you something, guys. When you all come out by the thousands for Freya Skye's acoustic shows and the Worlds Collide tour like you did with 19,000 people every night, packing into arenas in California and Chicago and Texas, it's really amazing how people have this undeniable love and support that they show all the time for Freya Skye. I mean, let's face it. Freya Skye is a girl who falls asleep on a tour bus every night because she can barely keep her eyes open because she's always overworked. And that's when I had so much respect for Freya Skye. That was the moment I realized that if I was going to say anything at all about Freya Skye, it was going to have to be something nice. From the first time I ever saw Clarke cry on a YouTube video or an Instagram live feed, whatever it was, I said, if I'm going to say anything about Clarke, I'm going to show her more love and support than any guy ever on YouTube who has ever uploaded a video inspired through Descendants of Zombies would ever say about her. And lo and behold, I've become the only guy on YouTube who has said something nice about Clarke. Now, I know there are magicians who try to play, Clarke songs on piano or try to teach you guitar lessons about your favorite Descendants of Zombies songs. But when it comes to sharing your insights about Descendants of Zombies, nobody has ever gone further with this than what I have. Nobody's ever gone deeper. Because I've always appreciated the dive deep into the ocean of Descendants of Zombies, because you never know what you're going to find. It's like when you find an oyster and you wonder if inside that oyster there's going to be a pearl. Like the Little Mermaid story about how she was always curious about what was up over the water and, what was the real world like? Was it really a beautiful place? And she very quickly found out that the real world was a beautiful place because there are kind people in this world. And even with every treasure that she had, all she ever wanted to experience in her nook was that she wanted to be a part of something special, more special than she ever had the honor of being a part of. No matter if you were a princess or how many treasures you had, there's never really a price tag on true love. And there's never really a price tag on the moments that we have to share with fans like Descendants of Zombies. This is truly incredible. What you guys did for me is something I will never ever forget. What an experience, what an incredible ride I've been on. Everybody has represented, I say this because everybody has represented Descendants of Zombies in such an emphatic way. And over in less than 1 year, over 4,000 people have subscribed to this YouTube channel. These numbers truly blow my mind. It's kind of like you wake up in the morning and you look at your YouTube channel count and you're like, yes, 1,000 people subscribed. And you have made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. Can you figure out why everybody loves this YouTube channel so much? It's because the guy hosting the show creates relatable content. And if there was one thing that I was ever going to upload, it was going to be relatable content. Because I got to be honest with you guys, the Freya Skye merch is incredible. The music that she's writing is mind-blowing. And the music videos are just incredibly beautiful. What more needs to be said about it? She's 16 years old. She's writing beautiful music. I remember years ago when Jessica Simpson first came into the industry, and she was very desperately trying to find her place in the world. And she did anything but write relatable music. I just loved Jessica Simpson because I thought the girl had a lot of talent, but she wasn't really writing relatable music, because I think it's a constant struggle to write relatable music, because you're not letting people know how you feel. You're trying to relate to the people and how they feel, your audience. Every song that Freya Skye has ever written hasn't had anything to do with a certain situation or circumstance that she's been faced with. It's just about how she wants to relate to you. And I give her a great deal of credit and respect for that every single time that I ever record my thoughts on Freya, because she's so strong. She's so fearless. And she is here. She knows she's here because of each and every one of you. You guys probably today put a brand new Freya Skye poster on your wall. And I want to let you guys know that the very first poster that I ever had on my wall, apart from the Sonic posters and the Five Nights at Freddy's ones you see there in the back as part of my YouTube videos, one day I woke up and I said, man, I got to do something cool with this room. I'm recording videos for Descendants of Zombies fans, and they deserve the best. So I took all my life savings and spent over $3,000 on a YouTube channel. $3,000 later, I'm here. And I wanted to one-up Kylie Control's ex-man, or her best friend's ex-man, because apparently there was a story that Kylie Control was saying about how she had this friend that was dating this one guy who had one poster on his wall and a mattress on the floor, and she told her friend that that was her cue to leave. And I think that was the most valuable piece of advice, because she cared about a friend that she ever gave to one of her friends. Point being, she has always and forever been there to support her friends, and they likewise have supported her, and that's why we see them all the time sharing in these moments in these music videos, which are truly incredible. I wish Freya Skye would have some of her friends in some of her music videos. That's an idea for an upcoming Freya Skye music video, probably for the Silent Treatment music video, with how the song resonates with people and makes them feel. You know, have some of Freya Skye's friends make guest appearances in the music video. Have Jonathan Clarke write and direct and produce it. And it would be awesome, because I think that no matter what we go through in our lifetime, our friends are the ones that help us see it through. And you wonder sometimes why Red and Chloe's friendship was always having a greater emphasis and a greater appreciation showcase for it. It was because they were there for everybody's moment of everybody's life, and they were always there for each other. They were incredibly supportive of each other, not just in front of the camera, but when the camera was turned off and the lights were turned down, they were hanging out all the time. Kylie Control's got to get a bigger TV in her living room, though, guys. She's only got like a 40-inch TV, and I'm sitting here with a 65-inch TV. She could have the 65-inch TV, man. She could have what I got, because there is no price tag on, you know, a girl's happiness, and I've always believed that. So how you trigger somebody's emotions is you talk about what they love and what they've appreciated. And not only do you talk about what they love and what they appreciate, you resonate with the people who love and appreciate what you talk about. You really got to come to an understanding about who the person is. And that's all I've ever wanted to be a part of. I didn't want to have any time or any conversations about Kylie Control crying all the time, but I just made it apparent that I knew this was happening, and I knew how people like Kylie and Freya were under a considerable amount of pressure, and I just wanted them to know that people out there really did believe in them. And you guys really show it through your dedication. I have never seen somebody so passionate than you guys about collecting dolls. Years ago, I used to collect professional wrestling action figures and gargoyle action figures and a whole bunch of Aladdin merchandise and SpongeBob merchandise, and you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, you still do. You're such a loser. You have a gigantic Mickey Mouse that's about 3 feet tall as part of your YouTube backdrop. I watch you every night. Well, long story short, my mom was a huge Mickey Mouse fan, and ever since I was 5 years old, she was buying me all this Mickey Mouse merch. I can remember times when I was sick in hospital being treated for different illnesses, and my mom would go out and buy me a whole bunch of Mickey Mouse merchandise for however long I had to spend in the hospital, because it's always a constant struggle when you're in hospital trying to overcome, different sicknesses and stuff. And I can remember my mom always buying me this Mickey Mouse merch, and she's like, "I bought this for you." And I would have no idea what would be in the bag, and when I opened up the bag, there would be a pair of Mickey Mouse boxers, or a pair of Mickey Mouse pajamas, or a life-size Mickey Mouse stuffy. And when it came to my video game collection, I talk about my video game collection a lot. I can remember my mom and my grandmother coming together every year on my birthday or Christmas, and every year on my birthday and Christmas. Mickey Mouse years ago used to have a bunch of video games. He first started releasing video games on the original Nintendo Entertainment System, which was first released back in the 1980s. I think it was released somewhere around 1985 was when I got my first Super Nintendo. My dad had the regular Nintendo, and he gave it to me. And I can remember every year on my birthday and Christmas, which would be the only time that you would get a video game, you would get a Mickey Mouse video game. I can remember one of the very first video games that my grandmother ever bought me was Mickey Mouse Illusion Island on the Game Gear handheld console. And then it eventually progressed from that to the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo. I remember playing Mickey Mania years ago. I was always fond of Disney characters, and I'll tell you why. I was always, and you see your favorite Descendants stars always, showing an appreciation for their favorite characters, like how Freya Skye recently showed her appreciation for Tinkerbell. When Tinkerbell used to be up for treason and, all these charges that Captain Hook would try to put her up against. She was so innocent, though, even with how many charges Captain Hook would try to have against her. The thing that I really appreciate your favorite Descendants of Zombies characters for having done is showing not only their appreciation for their characters they've done, and they've created, because they've had a hand in creating them, and I wish they would have had more of a hand in creating them, is their appreciation for these characters that they know they are in the positions they're in because of. I saw Peter Pan for the first time ever back, I think it was in the early 1990s by the time that I saw Peter Pan. I might have been 7 years old, and I was captivated by it. They just recently shot Peter Pan and Wendy here, and I got to give it to them because the scenery here is incredibly beautiful. And I got to tell you something, guys. I don't know why they never chose this place where I live to shoot Descendants. I would love for them to give themselves up the opportunity to choose this place to shoot Descendants, because I would be the first guy to want to direct this thing. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, do you really think that you could direct Descendants Zombies for us? Yeah, I would. Because the thing is, I always think about how you feel about Descendants of Zombies. I've directed a lot of stage productions over the years, Phantom of the Opera, High School Musical, this or that. And I've always taken away a greater appreciation for theater. So basically how you take away a greater appreciation for theater if you're a theater kid is you are the first person in the room every day after school, and you are the last person to leave. You may never take a single jot note in your lifetime, but you just perceive it with an open heart and an open mind, because it's all about how the audience perceives to your work and your dedication. And the best piece of advice that I've ever given to anybody is, if the audience loves you, they're going to let you know about it. If the audience doesn't love you, they're also going to let you know about it, and you have to take it for what it's worth. But it's always a chance, even if the audience doesn't accept how you feel, to reinvent yourself. And when you come back the next night on the stage, you give an even greater performance that will turn it to be a 5-star one. All I've ever wanted to do is be a part of something special, and Descendants of Zombies gave me that opportunity. I've shared stories with you about supernatural lore that I've often found time appreciating, fairy tale characters, and folklore, because that has a lot to do a hand in development of characters like Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland. And if there was one character that I appreciated for her curiosity, it would have had to have been Alice in Wonderland. It would have had to have been Cinderella, because of just how, lifelike these stories seem to be. Because back in 1950, when Cinderella was first released, it was considered fantastic animation. It was really breathtaking. It was truly mind-blowing to be a part of it. And the people who got the chance to be a part of the theatrical premieres, because years ago, there was no such thing as digital transmission, so you couldn't sit home and watch these movies on demand. There was no such thing. That was just in development, and it would take years. I remember years ago in the 1990s, people talking about how advanced technology was going to become at the turn of the millennium, and I had no idea what they were talking about, and I had no idea what it was in store for. But by the turn of the millennium, we saw all these advancements. Whatever happened to the days that Kylie Cantrell and Leah Money talk about all the time, about how the 1980s and the 1990s were prided on a generation where you actually had to call your friend on your flip phone and say, hey, I'm going to the mall in about 15 minutes from now, which I'm actually doing today, come to think of it. Do you want to meet up? And then you would go to the mall because you couldn't text them and just hope they were going to show up. And when they did, you realized that you had a true friend. somebody that was never ever going to quit on you, because many of you have had friends that never show up for a meet and greet at the mall. Many of you never have friends that show up for your birthdays, but the ones who do are very dedicated to you, and they believe in you. And that's what Red and Chloe represent all the time in the Descendants franchise. And you're saying to yourself, gosh, Jonathan, you present really great reviews of Descendants of Zombies. I'm going to watch you more often on YouTube. You have become my favorite YouTuber. Woohoo! Well, if you are somebody who thinks that, then thank you so much. Because I appreciate you being the fan of Descendants of Zombies that you are. And this is precisely why I can go on for forever and always. If you're wondering if Jonathan Clarke is really excited about Freya Skye's upcoming EP or album, there's a lot of speculation on whether or not this is going to be an album or an EP. Oh, for sure I am. You know, if this was 1995, I would be the first one in the lineup at Music World to buy the Freya Skye CD. Because years ago, you could only get CDs or cassette tapes. I remember coming out of the generation from buying cassette tapes into CDs and thinking they were the most amazing thing ever. And forgive me, but I still think that I live in a generation that is prided by the release of CDs. That could only have up to about 10 tracks. I think in later years you could have something like 15, and if you compress the CD, you could have up to 20 with bonus tracks and stuff like that. But I remember when you would buy a CD compilation of your favorite artists, whether it be Jessica Simpson or the Backstreet Boys, because yes, Jonathan Clarke was a really huge Backstreet Boys fan. He was also a really big Miley Cyrus fan in years later. But I was a really big Backstreet Boys fan, and I had the biggest crush in the world on Jessica Simpson. So if there was a Jessica Simpson poster to have on your wall, I had it. One of my very first Jessica Simpson posters was given to me by one of my friend's sisters because she knew I was a huge fan of Jessica Simpson. So one day she went up and bought this Jessica Simpson poster for me because I think she had a really big crush on me, and she gave me this Jessica Simpson poster and said, hey, Jonathan Clarke, one day when I was over visiting him, I bought this poster for you. And I remember how excited she was to give it to me. And then his brother had an infatuation with Tigger. And I was a huge Disney fan, so I would spend time playing with his brother more than I would him. And his brother was a little bit younger than him. But I remember his room being completely decorated with Tigger merchandise. It was to the point where the walls were painted orange and the floor was black with the borders being painted in the color of Tigger. And, you know, the point being, people are really, really passionate about what they believe in. So if you're passionate about whatever you believe in, it could be the Descendants music, it could be Freya Skye's merch, it could be the Descendants and Zombies dolls. All I've ever wanted you guys to do is to continue to follow your passions. And I'll tell you why all I've ever wanted you to do is continue to follow your passions. You only ever have one life to live. That's all we got. So can't we just all get along? Can't girls just appreciate how they're friends with each other? And can't guys just understand how girls just want to be friends with each other more than anything else in the world? You know, I've always believed that we're eventually going to come to a point where Red and Chloe are going to have relationships of their own. They're eventually going to find people to fall in love with, because if you fall in love with the books, they do find relationships and they do eventually fall in love with people. I've always believed that if a guy actually understood a girl for who she was and what she wanted out of life, more relationships would work out for the better. And I may be just saying this because I'm a really genuine guy, and with me what you see is what you get. But I think that the reason why guys are all like, oh, I don't understand her, I don't get the way she is, why is she the way she is? Who cares about how she is the way she is? If you actually sit back and put into perspective the reason why she is the way she is and she likes what she likes, is because there's only one her. So if there's only one her, can't we just understand the girls for who they are and just appreciate them in the moments we get to spend with them? I may be just saying this because I've seen your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars hurt to the point where their heart is breaking, and they don't deserve to have their heart breaking as much as what it is because of how some critic feels about them on YouTube. It doesn't take a critic really long to figure out why this YouTube channel has become everybody's favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and it nearly brings tears to my eyes. And some girl out there today is saying, hey, Jonathan Clarke, man, thank you so much for making great Descendants of Zombies videos for us. You love Freya Skye just as much as what we do. And I do. And you had better believe that if there was one guy that could be in the front row at Freya Skye's upcoming Stars Align tour and these acoustic shows, it would have been Jonathan Clarke. It's just Freya Skye's never invited me. I don't even know if Freya even watches this channel. But Freya, I would love to have tickets. I would love to come. I will pay for tickets. I will pay for my own flight. And I will come support you with glitter signs and I love Freya Skye signs, and I'd be the first one to raise them up. Not only just out of love and support for Freya Skye, but out of love and support for each and every one of you, man. Because you guys have really given me the honor of being a part of something special, and something I know that I will never ever forget any of you for. There are people subscribing here to this YouTube channel every day. I think one day last week I had over 100 people subscribe in just one day. In a 24-hour period, over 100 people subscribed. And there was another time where over 1,000 people subscribed to this YouTube channel in just one day just last year. I kid you not. And the reason why they did is because they saw something special in every video that I uploaded, and I had so much fun and I had so much of an honor creating these videos for so many wonderful people. Maybe it had something to do with how I remember back in the 1990s, how the only thing you could buy from your favorite artist was your favorite CD. And I remember when the Backstreet Boys and the Spice Girls released their first initial albums and they were receiving such great reviews. I remember how you could watch this show every night on YTV. It was called The Hit List. And it was the only way you could see a new music video from somebody like Bryan Adams or Mel C or Britney Spears or NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys. And I remember watching this countdown show every night on Friday night. And then after that, all these scary shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps would come on, and I'd be afraid to sleep at night. The point being is, I know what it's like to be each and every one of you. So if you're passionate about Descendants of Zombies as much as what you are, there is no reason why Disney can't release more content, or should at least take themselves the opportunity to create a new show. Animated, live action. I mean, you could take the Descendants franchise and turn it into a show called Oradon. And I would be the first person ever to talk about it. And can you believe it? I've already spent 20 minutes talking about Descendants of Zombies. I'm going to have to cut this one a bit short. I might be able to go a little bit longer. But guys, thank you so much for loving this YouTube channel as much as what you have. And thank you so much for believing in me as much as what you had, because you never really had to. I will be back later on tonight with a new video for everybody, and I will close this one out with some final thoughts that I will offer for you today about Descendants of Zombies, and then we'll do this all over again tomorrow. How does that sound? So that will happen just after sunset tonight, and I just want to say thank you so much. I have a really itchy nose. Does anybody know the cure for an itchy nose out there? Oh my God. Hey, Jonathan Clarke with the glasses. Cool. The thing is, I have this really itchy nose, and I don't know what the cure is for it. So if anyone knows what the cure for an itchy nose is, you can hit my like button. I would really appreciate it. Every single time I record a Descendants of Zombies video, I have this really itchy nose. So that means I got to bolt. Then I got to go to the mall today, which I just told you guys about, and put down some money on the new Resident Evil 9, which is coming out in February, and then Scream 7 is coming out. Point being, you never have enough opportunities to enjoy the time that you surround yourself with your friends, and especially your family, because you only have one family to live your life through with, and they're the ones who understand you the most. So for the friends that you have in your lifetime, that's what Red and Chloe has always represented. That's what Freya, Skye's story and message has always been, is to appreciate these moments. It never was really about how Freya, Skye may have been feeling. It was how difficult it was to create relatable content, and she has shined through every single time. So if you feel strongly about Freya, Skye, then I think just maybe this could be the YouTube channel for you. I really do. Because you can search the world over for 1,000 years if you like, and you will never find a YouTube channel with somebody who feels as strongly as what I do about Descendants of Zombies. I can promise you that. Just give it a try and come back and subscribe here. Because it's up to you. Because my art becomes your art once I upload it to YouTube. And I've understood that. And I've always had a greater appreciation for you as the Descendants of Zombies fandom. And I've had the time of my life and a profound honor sharing these wonderful memories with each and every one of you. So thank you so much for having watched this video. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel. We will do this all over again just after sunset tonight. I will come back one final time. And just to let you guys know that I feel just as passionate about Descendants of Zombies as each and every one of you, because we can never seem to have enough of these opportunities to share it. Thank you so much for believing in Descendants of Zombies and me as much as what you have as your voice of Descendants of Zombies. And thank you so much for having watched this video.